we're just going to start whatever props you have. So I do have one foam block, not two. I have the eggs, but so whatever you have, a blanket or a block or a towel, just sit on it for a moment. We're going to sit up tall. So we'll sit up tall, reach the crown of the head toward the ceiling and drop the sit bones and the tailbone down into what you're sitting on. Relax the shoulders down, away from the ears. And then let's just lift up through the chest. Allow the belly to be soft and start to take some long, deep breaths. And as you breathe in, allow the belly to expand with the breath. So as we're breathing into the belly is expanding, and as we're exhaling, gently draw the navel toward the spine, pushing the air out. And then release, inhale, filling up. Exhale, draw the navel in toward the spine. We're not changing our posture, we're only using the abdominal muscles to contract slightly. And we'll continue for a minute or two. Inhale, filling up. Exhale, draw the navel in, squeezing the air out. Inhale, filling up. Exhale, squeeze. And then let's bring the hands to the lower side ribs and just rest them just above the waist so that you're touching the ribs. And as you inhale, fill the front as you just were. But then add air into the sides so that the hands start to move out with the ribs. And then exhale slowly. Draw the navel toward the spine. Inhale, filling up. Exhale, squeeze the air out. More times. Okay, good. Now bring the hands to the back ribs. If your shoulders don't make it easily, just maybe the one hand that can. Backs of the hands are good enough. So as you inhale, fill the front like you were. Then fill the sides. And then add air into the back. And slowly release. The first few times you do this, you may not feel like you're getting any air into the back, but you will eventually. Inhale, fill the front, sides, and back, and release the air slowly. And near the end, draw the navel in toward the spine, pushing the last bits of air out. Notice how long the breath is now. Inhale, fill the front, the sides, and the back. Exhale slowly. Again, inhale, front, sides, back, and release. Somebody still has their microphone on. Okay, good. Let's bring the hands down and we'll just continue breathing like this for at least 3 more breaths. So much more room in the lungs. Just keep breathing into them. for this last breath, even fill up in between the shoulder blades. So start with the front, belly fills, sides fill from the waist to the armpits, and back fills all the way up in between the shoulder blades. One more time. Front, sides, and back, and release. Let's do our neck. So we'll drop the chin down toward the chest. Most of you know this one. Chest is lifted, dropping the head forward as far as it goes. Feel the pull in the back of the neck and down the shoulder blades, and breathe into that upper back area. One more breath here. And then we'll bring the chin to the right collarbone, nose dropping toward the right thigh. Keeping the breath full. Be feeling behind the left shoulder blade. One more full breath. And then swing the right ear over the right shoulder, face facing forward, jaw relaxed, breathing deeply. Really feel the weight of the head dropping over, chest is still lifted, shoulders are relaxed. Deepen the breath up toward the collarbones. And then very slowly swing the chin down toward the chest. Let the head hang again for a couple of deep breaths. And then we'll bring the chin toward the left collarbone, nose dropping toward the left thigh. The weight of the head is still dropping forward. There's little muscular movement happening. It's just an angle to drop the head forward in. Breathing deeply up between the shoulder blades, feeling this now behind the right shoulder blade. One more deep breath here. bring the left ear over the left shoulder, keeping the chin dropping just level to, it's not down and it's not up, it's somewhere in the middle. Chest is lifted, jaws relaxed, and breathing deeply. Couple more breaths. And then very slowly chin down to chest. Pause for a breath. Inhale, right ear over right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear over left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Again, inhale over right. And chin to chest. Inhale over left. And chin back to chest. Let it hang for 2 more breaths. And then slowly lift the head back up. Let's just roll the shoulders a few times. Good, and then let's just reach the arms long. Send the heels of the hands away. Reach long, flex the wrists, spread the fingers. Deep breaths. You can even try your neck movement, your head movements to stretch the neck out here. You'll find completely different sensations with the arms in this position. Hi, Pino. Okay, let's bring the arms down. We're going to do eagle arms, crossing the right over the left. Press the elbows forward, trying to clasp somewhere the hands or the hand on the wrist, and then press the elbows forward and drop the chin down toward the chest. We're ready to release the arms. Send the heels of the hands away. Deep breath. And then now we'll take the left arm over the right arm, crossing at the elbows. Press the elbows forward, drop the chin down toward the chest. Keep the chest lifted, breathing between the shoulder blades. And slowly release one more time, heels of the hands away. Spread the fingers, flex the wrists. Okay, good. We'll just do a little bit for the wrists. So bring the hands together. This one is just a really easy one. It's like a preparation for what we'll do next. So I like prayer pose, but bring the fingertips to touch and pull the heels of the hands away. So we're just working on it's a little bit wrist, a little bit hand, but mostly fingers. See if you can just press the fingertips together and pull the heels of the hands away. Good. And then interlace the fingers. We're going to roll the wrists, preparing them for other things later. So we're doing yin today, but we're going to do a little bit of movement in between some of the poses. Not a lot, just a little bit. You're going to come onto your hands and your knees. So you might want your blanket so that you have a bit of cushion under your knees so that they're not feeling too much pressure. And once you place your blanket, if you have a carpet under your mat, you're not really necessarily going to need this. But we're going to bring our knees onto the blanket, come into table position, and where the hands are now, you're going to bring your elbows down to the floor. So my arms are quite forward, and then I'm sinking my hips back toward the calves, but they're not coming toward the heels, so in this direction. And then forehead drops, chin drops. If the nose is in the way, you can turn the head. So if the nose is pressing into the floor, you can turn the head to the side. And just let your chest drop, little by little. If the shoulders are extremely uncomfortable, try parting your arms wider. And if you want to go deeper, bring your arms closer to your head. So it kind of looks like what dogs do, but not from the knees. And keep taking deep breaths into the chest. At some point, you may want to go deeper into the pose, and in that case, you're going to bring your palms together and bend your elbows and bring them behind the head like this. Keep filling the lungs right from the bottom to the top. Keep letting the chest sink toward the floor. Take 5 more deep breaths here. And then from this pose, you're just going to ease back into child's pose. So sliding back, keeping the head down. Arms can stay extended or not. It's up to you. And we'll be here for about a minute. Take deep breaths, filling the back of the lungs. Take one more deep breath. And then round the back and push yourself up and turn your toes under. We're coming into a toe stretch. So you want to have the toes as aligned as they can be, and that none of them are pointing in different directions. Try to get them to point straight forward. You can even take a peek to make sure that that's what they're doing. And then we'll be here for a couple of minutes. Now some of you will want to come up here, which is fine, but I suggest starting here and allowing the whole length of the foot from heel to tip of the toe to also lengthen. When we come here, it's focused on the ball of the foot. So let's just start here and take a few deep breaths. Okay, so if you want to come up at this point, you can. We're holding still for one more minute. I'm not. It's not comfortable for me, and I've had a history of tendinitis in my feet, so I'm not going to aggravate it. But that's your choice, if that works for you. A minute is enough, really, in each of the angles that we take for the feet. Anything longer can become a little bit too much, just maybe cause some inflammation. Keep breathing deeply. And then from here, we're going to push back onto our feet, and we're going to come into Malasana, or squat pose. So you might want to part the feet a little bit wider, and I'll give you a bit of a side view here. So you part the feet a little bit wider, knees are over the toes. So if your feet are wider and your knees are coming in, you're going to be harming your knee. If the heels don't come down, then you can always put a folded or rolled blanket behind you under the heels so that they have something to lean on. And you can stay on your toes without the support, but this helps you get into the pose a little bit more. So feet and knees pointing out, elbows to the insides of the knees, pressing the knees away and pressing the palms together. And then lift the chest and allow the tailbone to drop, and breathe. You can even think about the crown becoming, up closer to the ceiling, lengthening the spine. We're not quite done here. We're going to do a couple of different things. First, we're going to place the hands on the floor and we're going to lean forward so that the elbows are pressing the legs back. The upper arms are against the shins. And as we lean forward, we're not trying to do crow, we're not trying to get our weight into our hands, but we are trying to get the legs to. So just a few more breaths here. Okay, let's release from this. Now we're going to try to turn a little bit. So now I'm going to use my right arm and I'm going to push my right leg back. Now some of you will be like in this position. Some of you may be able to bend the elbow around and then the left hand will come behind the back. Maybe you have a strap. If you can clasp your fingers, do that. If not, just keep your hand down and twist to look toward the left. And we'll be here just for about 30 seconds or so. Deep breaths. And release, and then we'll do the other side. So bring your left arm in front of your left leg and maybe just put the hand on the floor and push the leg away to start and turn to face the right leg. But maybe you're able to bend that left elbow, reaching behind the back, and then take the right hand behind your back and see if you can clasp the fingers. Now, you can always use a strap if you don't have a strap, you can use a tie or a rope or some kind of, even a cord, I guess, would work, as long as it's not plugged in. Lifting the chest, looking toward the right. Let's breathe. Take about 2 more deep breaths. Now you could stay here longer, but the squat pose we've already held for a while, so we're going to release. Bring the hands to the floor, and we're just going to leave the feet as they are and extend the legs. And if the hands don't stay nice and comfortable for you on the floor, you can hold your shins or put your hands on a block like this. And we're just going to hang forward with the feet slightly pointing out and as wide as they are. Drop the head. And then turn the toes forward, so now you're parallel with the feet slightly wide. Drop the head. Really let the head hang. Feel the full weight hanging. Allow the spine to lengthen. And then we'll bend the knees, slowly coming down. And we'll come to sit. And we'll put the legs in bound angles. So you could use your blanket if you're feeling like the ankles don't feel cushioned enough. I like to use the blanket. You can do it a number of different ways, but if I have a little extra support under my outer lower leg, I feel like my ankle bones aren't pressing into the floor too hard. So from bound angle, now everyone's got a position that's comfortable. So I want you to move out of the comfortable position, which means either pull the feet in closer or move them out farther. Just an inch is enough to change the way that this is going to affect your hips. So very slowly and ease in. You can use a block or not, or a bolster, whatever you have. Sometimes I like to start just like this, wait for things to give, and then I can go in a little bit more, use the block to rest my head down. These are just options. You can do it the old-fashioned way without a prop. So you're letting the legs drop toward the floor. You are allowing the inner thigh to release the thigh bone from the hip socket, so there's some space. You're allowing the low back to round. So this does not have to be all about the hips. This can be a lot about the low back and sacrum. So allow the back to round and drop the head and breathe deeply into the back. Take a few more deep breaths, filling the back. We're not leaving the pose, but we're going to shift our direction that we're leaning for a little bit. So let's just take that last deep breath. And I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. So from here, we're going to lean a little more toward the right. So we're leaning over the middle of the right shin, dropping the head down. You're going to be feeling this in the lower back left side, a lot like how we were feeling it when we were in the malasana, our squat pose, and we were doing a little bit of the twist there. Take one more deep breath here. Very slowly make your way back to center. Pause for a breath. And then slowly make your way over to the left side, leaning over the left shin, rounding the back and dropping the head, and breathing deeply. Let's take one more deep breath. Slowly swing back to center. And easy rolling up. So we're not moving too quickly. We're not asking the connective tissue to find a place before it's ready. It needs to gradually land in its new arrangement because we've just shifted things. Okay, so we're going to come from bound angle to a single leg. So one leg is in. Let's actually start so you see me better. Let's start with the right leg coming in and the left leg out. And you can use props here to lean on if you have any or want to. And we'll just start leaning and facing toward the left knee, gradually making our way down. And maybe putting something in front of you to lean on just to begin. Now I've got my foot flexed, but that's just to make sure everything's aligned, and then now I'm relaxing my foot. So I stretched my heel away, and now I'm relaxing my foot. And little by little, my body will let go, and I'll be able to come in a little deeper. Some of you will be up here, that's fine. And just to point out, no body is the same, and the goal here is just to release tension, not to aim for a particular end result or a picture perfect pose. So don't be too concerned about that. Just release tension, let go. When the mind is worried about stuff, tension is being held. So forget it all and just breathe deeply. And then as you have availability to move in, let yourself. Make sure the head is dropped and you're breathing deeply. If it's within your reach, you can use the right hand to reach around the left foot on the outside of the foot, and then pull yourself in just a little more, and then relax once you're in, so we're not pulling the whole time. Take another 3 deep breaths. Using your hands on the floor, slowly push yourself up, rounding your back. Take about 10 seconds to come out. And then pause and breathe. And then we'll slowly switch the legs. Place your props nearby, you might need them. When you're ready, you're going to start to make sure you're facing the right leg, so you're not facing in between the legs, but facing the right leg. Hinging at the hips, gradually coming in at that first place of resistance, stop and breathe. I've got my foot extended or my heel extended just to lengthen the leg, and now I'm relaxing the foot. And then as my body lets go, I'm going to come into this a little bit more. But this leg could be very different from your other legs, so there's no need to force or rush or ask the body to do more than it's capable of doing. Taking deep breaths into the back. And at this point, if you like, you can grab the outer edge of the foot with your left hand and just pull yourself in a little more and then relax down. And you don't need to hold on, just you pulled yourself in, now relax here. Okay, let's take a few more deep breaths. Place the hands on the floor, let the head hang round the back, and slowly, slowly take some good amount of time. And just slowly push yourself back up and pause. So from here, we're going to extend both legs out. And you're gonna lie down on your mat and come into Shavasana for a couple of minutes before we move on to any more poses. So just take a moment to relax and breathe. We're lying down on our backs, taking a long break, letting the back settle. Feeling like you can move at this point, you're going to bend your knees and place your feet on the floor and just let the knees drop in for a moment. And then from here, you're going to need either a block or a rolled blanket. And you're going to put it under your pelvis, lifting your pelvis, keeping your feet parted to the width of the mat or close to that. And then drop the knees in. There's no effort being used to keep the legs here. You're just leaning them in. The block is not under the low back at all, just under the pelvis. And we're going to let that low back start to lengthen toward the floor, breathing deeply. At this point, if you have a block and you want to turn it up, you can. So we'll just take it up to the next level. If you're finding this very uncomfortable, just go back to where you were. Let's turn the block down if it's been turned up. And then bring the knees in toward the chest, give them a hug. We're going to come into happy baby from here. So grab the feet, pull the knees toward the armpits, let the block support the pelvis, and breathe. You can also bring the soles of the feet together to come into this a little bit more deeply. So the feet are coming toward the head. And then we'll release. You can push the block out from underneath you. And we're going to come into a twist from here. So bring your knees over to the left, opening up the arms into a twist, taking deep breaths. If you want and it feels okay for you to do this, and I'm recommending this only for people whose knees are laying on each other here. If your leg is still up here, I don't think this is a good idea, but you can cross the top leg over the bottom leg and then come into the twist. Keep filling the lungs with the breath. Take 3 more deep breaths. And then slowly unravel the legs, draw the navel toward the spine and bring the navel down in and the knees back in toward the chest. Give them a hug. And then when you're ready, let the knees come over to the right, opening up the arms into a T, taking deep breaths. You can also hold this top knee with the right hand. It just applies a little bit of pressure and weight so the leg doesn't feel like it's going to slide away. And also at this point, if you feel like it, you can wrap the top leg around the bottom leg, letting that left shoulder drop and breathing deeply. Take 3 more deep breaths. And then unravel the legs, draw the navel to the spine, bring the knees back into the chest, give them a hug, squeeze them tight. So we're going to roll over to the right side and slowly push yourself up. And then we're going to come into our last pose, which is a back bend. So either using a rolled blanket or a block. You might need both because I'm going to lay over the block. The block is going horizontally at the flattest level across the mat. And actually I have another block here I'm going to use for my head. You can use two, or you can build that up with a blanket if you like. But we're going to lie over this so that the block is just about mid back to shoulder blade area, head coming down toward the block or the blanket behind you. And then we're going to let the arms drop out to the sides, palms up. Relax the shoulders down away from the chest. Relax the jaw. Close the eyes. Deepen the breath. Taking deep breaths, filling the chest. Turn the head to the right for a couple of breaths. And then to the left. Then bring the head to center, bend the knees, roll to your right side, use your right arm to protect your head as you come down. And slowly push yourself up. Namaste.